do it again.
What's that?
Have you all in town, and of course here to Miss Laura's. I'm Laura Ziegler, came from Vermont back in 1896 on a business venture. Quickly went to work in one of the Bordellos in the next block. A couple of years later, looking for a nicer location. I paid $600 for this lot, borrowed $3,000 from a local banker, built the building, opened it as a brothel in 1903. Ladies, this was the red light district. You already knew that, right, sir? Never been in one of these places, have you? I've heard that so. Yeah. The red light district was made up of 7 bordellos that included mine and one run by Pearl Starr. Pearl was the daughter of Belle Starr, the outlaw queen. Okay? So, but this one came to be known as Queen of the Row, and later as the grandest bordello in the West. Saturday nights we'd ice the champagne down in the bathtub upstairs and serve it free to the clients. And the first player piano in Fort Smith was located here at Miss Laura's. The 3 rooms across the hall were used for gambling, dancing, socializing. My living quarters are the 2 rooms to my left, and 9 girls worked upstairs. They had that loan paid off in 17 months. Yeah, they worked hard. Yeah. Well, things went well till about 1910. Some of the locals began to talk about getting rid of this bunch, and then there was a freak accident that year that speeded up that process. An oil tanker exploded out here on the tracks one night, caught some of the bordellos on fire. 2 actually burned to the ground, 3 others were damaged heavily. That fire came within 75 feet of Miss Laura's. Then there was a shift in the wind, and that's what saved the building. Well, as the girls ran out in the streets that night carrying their clients with them, it was quite a spectacle, as you might imagine. And the evening later became known as the night of the lingerie parade. Well, after the fire and during the cleanup, the locals were talking about getting rid of this bunch again, so I decided to sell the building while it was worth top dollar. Sold it to Bertha Galdine in 1911 for $47,000. It was a lot of money back then. Bertha ran it as a bordello until the ordinance was passed in 1924, which made prostitution illegal. But she continued to run it after that, and later as a boarding house. She owned the building up until her death, which occurred in 1948. And she's actually buried in our national cemetery here. Well, after her passing, the building was empty for about 15 years, and in 1963 the city decided that they were just going to shove this house down if there was not a buyer come forth by September of that year. That's when Don Reynolds of Don Ray Media came in and bought it just to save it from the wrecking ball. 1973 it became the first bordello to ever be placed on the National Register of Historic Places. It was restored in 1980, operated as a restaurant for about 10 years, but since 1992, it has been Fort Smith's official visitor center. So we're happy that you all are with us today, and we're going to be able to take the entire tour. We're going to divide in half. I'm going to take half of you upstairs while the other half is down here touring, and then we'll switch places. 2 or 3 things I'll point out in this area. The only stained glass that's original is this piece over the foyer here. It has the original staircase, so you're going to be going up on the original stairs today. And the fretwork, this is beautiful woodwork here that's called fretwork. There's 3 pieces in the house. This one upstairs, and one in Miss Laura's living quarters. And all of the wood here, this is dentile molding of it, and that's all original. The gold picture frame molding. We had a tornado in 1996 that took the top off the house. It left us with 5.5 inches of rain. Took us 2.5 years and $800,000 to get back in the house. We salvaged enough of this to actually put back into the hallway here. So that is original. You're going to see damage that was done to that, but it's 18 karat gold leaf. So you sure wouldn't want to paint over it. No. Okay, there were 9 girls who lived and worked up here. You see the 4 doors on this side and the 5 doors on this side. Those are the 9 original bedrooms. The girls' names are etched on the transoms. Those were taken from doctor's records years later, with the exception of this one that says the Duval room. That's from the actor Robert Duvall, who was a friend of Don Reynolds, wanted his name over one of the doors. This is the second piece of fretwork. Lighting was all gas. This changed over to electric many years ago. And we have 2 of the original pieces of furniture. The sideboard here, which is rosewood. This is hand carved, beautiful piece from 1875. And fortunately, it was not damaged other than the water damage when we had the tornado. It was not broken with the carvings and all the lumber and everything going. I mean, it took top, ceilings, and all on this side. So, yeah. Okay, we're going to go in and take a look at their dining table. It's an original piece as well, so I need to get everybody in here at one time, and we're just going to circle the table, take a quick look. Room to the back of the house that you're going to see when you go back down and have the tour down there. But it's solid oak, has 5 legs. It's a roll top, works much like a roll top desk. It's fully extended right now, and the leaves don't come out, okay? But to collapse it, you simply push from the ends. And you see how that rolls? The ends and under. That was their dining table. The chairs are not original. Very, very, very rare piece. 1870.
Wow.
Now you're standing in one of the bedrooms, so you get an idea of how large these rooms actually were. This would have been a solid wall. This was opened up to accommodate dining guests in the 1980s when this was being used as a restaurant. But originally a solid wall here, and each girl had a window, door into the hallway. If you pull a rank around here, maybe 2 windows. You've got the corner rooms, okay? But by today's standards, certainly larger rooms with the tall ceilings and so forth. The house has 6,000 square feet, 3,000 on each level. And following the tornado, we actually moved it. It had always sat here in this green space. We moved it 1 building width into the parking lot before they started that restoration that cost $800,000. They got it on a solid foundation. And the painting. This goes back at least to 1910 when this was hanging over a small bar downstairs.